Alright, guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews coming at you guys with Suits, Season 7, Episode 5 review. So, personally, wasn't my favorite episode of the season so far. Wasn't too bad either. This was kind of a middle average episode for Suits. We had a few interesting storylines. We saw Frank Gallo again, which was interesting, bringing back past characters. Actually, two past characters in this one came back. So that was definitely interesting. Brought some interest there for those characters coming back to see what part they are going to play. But outside of that, nothing out of the ordinary really happened. We saw the same thing with Paula and Harvey, Mike and Rachel, that stuff. So, yeah, anyways, I'm just going to, recap most of it. And for this show, I'm going to do mainly storylines at a time. But for this one, I decided to go a little bit more in chronological order just because there wasn't a lot of stuff for each storyline. I mean, to talk about. Like, yes, there was a lot of scenes, but a lot of the scenes were just kind of, we don't really need to talk about them. They weren't that important to the episode. So I just kind of follow chronological order a little bit more in this one than usual. So, anyways, let's get into it. So, basically, at the very beginning, or not the very beginning, but near the beginning, Paula tells Harvey about a lawsuit against her ex. I'm not sure if it was her husband or just her partner. I'm not sure. I don't think they were married, but she did say, that they were in love or something. And he's named Jacob. And yeah, so she has a lawsuit against him for, he's suing her for taking his clients or something like that. So Harvey tells her to let Lewis Litt be her lawyer. Obviously he would be, but he knows that Paula wasn't going to let him. So he wants Lewis to handle the suit for her. So it's kind of a good favor there, and shows that he trusts Lewis, and he values him. So that was interesting to see there. Then we get to the whole Mike and Oliver thing, which was basically the whole episode, in my opinion. That the title of this one's Brooklyn Housing, and that Mike says that about I think 3 or 4 times in the episode. So it was an episode centered around Mike for sure. But yeah, so it was interesting. Don't get me wrong. Just not my favorite storyline, but yeah, typical Mike really. So Mike and Oliver meet with Mark Stevens. At one of the, he was at one of the jails, a prisoner, and he was 2 months to his release, but then he got in a fight, and got 2 more years, to his sentence. So, he didn't know the names of the guards or the inmates, and Mike is kind of starting to figure out that the prison did on purpose, in moving, him and, all these other prisoners to different blocks, the night, that they are in these fights, and then their sentence is extended. So definitely a big breakthrough there for Mike and Oliver. And this guy, I mean, he's not much of a help, but he is one of the parts of the class action lawsuit that they're doing. So he's definitely probably going to come in later in the season here, or in the storyline at least. But yeah, so kind of interesting, and then later on they find more about the blocks moving, stuff like that. So then Harvey goes to Lewis and asks him to take on Paula as a client and fight the lawsuit. An important thing here that comes back later. I'm not really going to touch on it much because it wasn't, that big of a deal. But he basically tells him not to tell Donna about it, just because it would kind of create some awkward moment maybe with him and Donna. That now he's with a new woman or something like that, and she would probably try to meddle in his life and and try to find out stuff. So he just doesn't want her to know, or Lewis to tell her. Excuse me. So then Lewis goes and has lunch with Paula, and convinces her to let him be his lawyer. And it was kind of funny. I think he said, he's not a litigator if he lets another lawyer come talk to his client or something like that. So it's pretty funny. Lewis, obviously he has his ways of getting what he wants, of course, and so yeah, he convinces her to let him be his lawyer. and he handles the suit in this one. So that kind of it was a weird moment because we haven't seen this in a while. But obviously, the firm's kind of struggling at the moment. They don't have a lot of big clients anymore, and a lot of them left. So Harvey meets with this Rick Dunn, who is the head of some energy company. I didn't get that name, but he comes to him with information about the company Lockwood Energy, about them stealing his technology, and they're gonna go sell it to themselves. And of course, it's illegal. And Harvey convinces him, Rick Dunn here, to sign him as his lawyer for this. Yeah, so I think he's just trying to get new clients for the firm. He obviously did a lot of research to get the information that this company was doing what it was doing. Yeah, so he surprises Rick, kind of impresses him. So Rick lets him be the lawyer for this one. And yeah, so it's an interesting case how it plays out the rest of the episode. And it's very interesting to see Harvey, working a case and picking up a new client again. We haven't seen that in a little bit. So very fresh there. So then back with Mike and Oliver. A lot of this stuff is about Mike and Oliver because that's, like I said, the episode was kind of centered around that. So basically, but Mike turns down Harvey to work with Oliver. He gets off the phone and, lies about the Brooklyn housing thing. Harvey obviously doesn't know yet. I definitely think he'll find out, and I think Mike's gonna get caught in this one, just like the lie, just like his last big lie. But yeah, so he lies to him. And I also wanted to mention the Harvey asked for his help or something like that, and Mike says right now, and Harvey, hilarious comment, no, 3 months from Thursday, right? So just I don't know, I wanted to mention that. I just thought it was a really funny line. And just great delivery there from both of them. They have a lot of chemistry, like Patrick J. Adams, Gabriel Mock. They just have a lot of chemistry on the show, and they've been together now for 7 years probably, or maybe even more, because they split the seasons for this show, right, with a first half and the second half. So yeah, definitely like over 7 years they've been together now, and yeah, they're just great. So that was a funny moment. So then we meet Holly Cronwell, which I kind of remembered her a little bit from previous, I think it was previous seasons. Yeah, she wasn't in this season. I think it was season 6, or maybe even season 5. I'm not sure, but I totally forgot her. What did help, though, is I like with Suits how they do the previously on Suits, but then they bring back scenes like that because, Holly's coming back in this episode. They put a scene in there with Holly the last time they met her, so us viewers kind of understand what's going on. But the thing I don't like about that is also it gives away some of the surprises maybe with them trying to refresh our memories about it. So I'm kind of lopsided on that one, but for this episode it did well for me kind of remembering her, because to be honest, without that I wouldn't really know who she is. So anyways, so she runs into Harvey in the lobby of PSL, and she wants a job at the firm as a consultant. So kind of a crazy ask there, but Harvey basically turns it down really fast, and says she's not going to be getting a job or whatever like that, and she can go to a different firm, stuff like that. And I'm not sure why Holly would want to work at that firm anyways, because there's probably a lot of other firms that would hire her and pay her good money. So I'm not sure why she would want to work at Pearson Specter Lit. So then after this meeting in the lobby later on, Harvey gets the idea because he's kind of losing out on this Lockwood Energy case here, and he needs help. So he thinks of letting Holly basically audition for the job. Excuse me, I'm kind of using her words, but audition for the job by getting that information that he needs, and if she gets it, then Harvey promises her a job at the firm. So pretty interesting, Harvey's kind of killing two birds with one stone here. I don't think truthfully he would care if she works there or not. I don't think it'd be a problem. But I think, he has to be firm with a lot of things right now. He's the new managing partner, and his reputation is a big thing right now, so he's got to worry a lot about that as well. So I think that's why he turns it down at first. But yeah, so he gives her an audition. And then Oliver and Mike meet with Mr. Collins, and he's actually in prison still, unlike the other guy who's out now, to try and get information about the prison and what kind of stuff he's doing. And basically, he tells them everything. And he says, he got in a fight with someone. And then he got a PlayStation the next day, a brand new PlayStation in his cell, and he doesn't want to give that up. So he rejects the offer to testify, because Mike and Oliver can't really get him parole. They basically lied to him just to get into the room, and they really, they can't get him out, so he's not going to talk. So, and I understand that completely. I understand where he's coming from. If he gets a PlayStation or whatever, brand new PlayStation, why would he give that up, right? And the guards all like him, the prison likes him, so, it just doesn't make sense for him to give that up for a promise that Mike and Oliver can't keep, obviously, and he's smart enough to see that. So, yeah, so let's down Mike, but I don't, no reason why he wouldn't. So, Rick Dunn then comes to meet with Harvey. He doesn't trust him, because nothing happened in the first meeting, which is kind of ludicrous to me because, the first meeting, Harvey literally went there to strong arm him, sort of. Jeez, and nothing happened. But I don't know how Rick is so mad at him just for one meeting, not getting a settlement or whatever, a lawsuit. So it's kind of dumb in my opinion. But he doesn't trust him, basically, and he threatens to tell the world that Harvey doesn't, that he breaks his promises or something like that. And obviously that'd be a big thing right now for Harvey, especially just like I said, he's the new managing partner and all that. So definitely a big threat there. If would he actually do it? I'm not sure. I think he would. He sounded pretty serious. But anyways, so big thing there. So Harvey has got to get that information from Holly and use it towards winning this case against Lockwood Energy for Rick Dunn. And it's not like Rick hired, just came to him and asked him to do it, right? He was the one who went to Rick and asked to do it. So it's a big stakes case. And so then of course we learn later that he wants Mike's help because it's getting serious and he's not getting results right away like he usually does, maybe. So he goes to Rachel, asks where Mike is, and she says he's busy at the clinic, stuff like that. Harvey's obviously not too happy about it. And then of course that comes back around at the end of the episode. This is started. I'm just gonna touch on this now. I know it did happen at the end, but just gonna touch on it now. But it basically comes back at the end when she figures out Mike is lying about the whole Brooklyn housing thing, and it's really the jail thing, and basically, confronts him about his decision for lying to her and Harvey and the others, and says that Harvey should fire him and stuff. So it's pretty harsh, but I guess that's just, how she felt about it. Obviously, she doesn't like him lying to her, right? And which is understandable after, his whole life was basically a lie before. So a big scene there to end the episode off. And I don't think Mike really deserved all that, but definitely he's in the wrong here lying about this. And, if he didn't sign the contract, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but it's a huge deal because he signed that contract and it's really illegal for him to be working on it. So, yeah, so that's basically how the episode ended there. I skipped ahead a little bit, but let's go back. So, rewind a little bit. So then Mike meets with Frank Gallo. How he figured it out, it was a little obvious to me. I would have liked it if they sort of would have talked a little bit about it, and then they went to the prison, and then all of a sudden we just see Frank Gallo. That would have been really cool if that was done like that, for me at least. I just found it was a little too obvious. I totally saw that Frank Gallo was the guy he was going to see. But yeah, anyways, that's just how it went down. But basically, Frank sees right through Mike, and I support Frank all the way in this. Mike tricked you, got you an extra 5 years, Frank said in this episode, for attacking him there with that weapon in the prison. Mike just royally screwed him, in all facets. Yes, he deserved it, but at this point, why would he ever trust Mike, or why would he ever do something for him? obviously, and so he doesn't trust him at all, turns him away, and that's sort of the end of the first meeting. And he says, bring me a cookie next time or something like that, trying to, still play tricks with Mike. So then Mike, later on, for the second meeting that he goes to see Frank, he finds out what he needs. So Oliver says, you always know, you always know, what people want. You gotta, find out what Gallo wants and give it to him, and then he'll give you the information that we need. So Mike's obviously inspired by that, and he finds out that Gallo's daughter is not doing well and that he needs money to help her out. And basically, he's able to convince Frank to give him information. Now, still at this point, I don't know why Frank would ever help him. Even this, getting a lot of money here with the suit towards his daughter, I still wouldn't trust Mike after what he's done to Frank before. It's just, I don't know. And Frank's, I mean, he's not the smartest guy, right? His character's not made out to be the smartest guy. He's a criminal. But at that time saying that, I mean, he's still got to be smart enough to remember what Mike has done to him and kind of process that a little bit more. But anyways, that's just me. I'm happy that Frank's helping him, of course, for the story. But still, I just don't find that too realistic myself. But yeah, so Frank, tells him the information, bust a few skulls, get rewarded, I think he says. Those are his lines. So it's kind of interesting, kind of gruesome as well. But basically, Mike says, will you testify? And he says, well, I need an advance on that settlement. So maybe some sketchy things are going to happen because obviously, Mike doesn't have the money from the settlement. He's not even close to that. And Frank wants it before he's willing to testify. So maybe Mike's going to pay him with his own money or something. I'm not sure, but something shady is probably about to happen there. So then Lewis is blackmailed by Jacob in that first meeting that he goes to resolve this suit for Paula, and no settlement is reached at all. And basically Jacob, blackmails him and says that Harvey and Paula are dating, and it's after the window or whatever, which is definitely, an all, out and out lie from Jacob. It's not the truth at all. Yeah, so then later in the episode, of course, Lewis kind of gets inspired by Paula, and he, does some research on Jacob, and he catches him actually stalking her. He gets a affidavit from, I think, two different people, a newspaper stand and like a concierge or something at her building or something like that. Or no, maybe, yeah, I think it was like a concierge or someone working there. Basically they signed that he stalks her every day or whatever. And so that's a serious claim, and I mean, Lewis definitely could get him arrested for that. But basically he just agrees that they will drop the suit and he'll be fine with that. And yeah, so the lawyer, Jacob's lawyer, takes pretty seriously, and they drop it. So Lewis wins for Paula. And Lewis's face in this scene as well, where you could kind of see him feeling what Jacob was feeling a little bit, was very interesting to me. So it kind of leads more to him and Tara, right back to season 6. So this kind of really annoyed me in this episode. I mean, Donna was definitely my least favorite character in this one. Just pissed me off. The multiple things she said, oh, are you okay, Harvey, and the stuff with Lewis, she was so annoying. And then, she disagrees with the Holly Cronwell hiring. She overpowers Harvey, says, I'm the COO, you gave me that role, which she has a right to. I mean, she is that. And Harvey did give her that. But in my opinion, I mean, Harvey's the managing partner here, and he can't hire who he wants. It doesn't seem right? But anyways, Harvey says, if you don't like her, okay, you can be the one to tell her, right? Harvey doesn't want to tell her after he just promised her. So Donna meets with her later on and figures out Harvey was the reason she betrayed her last employer, and that she's actually, a pretty good person. Basically, and then Donna kind of changes her mind after she meets with Holly. Holly, has some good points. Says, that Harvey was the reason that she betrayed her past employer or whatever, right? So Donna kind of kind of finds out more information about it, and it's another part, she wasn't educated on the matter, so I don't know why she tried to meddle in it and try to get involved. Anyways, kind of just annoyed me a little bit, but so Donna changes her mind. She ends up liking Holly, and then says, to Harvey, yeah, okay, let's hire her. Yep, I'm good with that. And then Holly turns it down. So I totally respect Holly for doing so, for turning it down after, Donna said the stuff she did in that interview there. Yeah, so that's what happened. So Holly says that she'll work, just private gigs for them, and she'll be on their payroll, but not necessarily having an office and being a full-time consultant. So yeah, definitely, I respect Holly for making that decision, and kind of interesting to see if she's comes in the future episodes and helps them out. And Lewis is back with meeting Dr. Lipschitz. That's how you pronounce that. It's just some comedy relief scenes. Every time he talks to him, it's kind of funny. Some more serious, but some are just, funny, of, him saying ridiculous things to him. And the whole name, Dr. Lipschitz, is just another funny thing. Like, every time he says it, it's funny. So, anyways, yeah, just really cool thing there with Lewis and the doctor. They kind of made up after what he said to him in episode 3 there. We didn't see him last week. So, yeah, so it's good to see that Lewis is back there. And then Nathan finds out, this is towards the end, Nathan finds out about Mike working on the prison case with Oliver. Basically he says, he's not mad about it, and that, Mike thought he would be. He says, you're screwing over Harvey, not me. So, I'm not mad. So it's kind of funny. Mike's done some bad things to Nathan in the past, so I don't blame Nathan at all for this. But it's just kind of funny. And then, he says that he lied to Oliver and pretended to be mad or something and sent him home. So it's kind of funny. So basically we got Nathan's support now for the case. So Mike has another guy to trust with this, and not just Oliver. We'll definitely see where it goes, and see if he can keep it from Harvey still. And then basically at the end of the episode, we see Paula and Harvey, the second last scene, Paula and Harvey, making up there again, and, her, telling him that, she was worried about it, that she didn't think she was lovable or something like that. And of course, it's ridiculous. Harvey obviously still loves her. So this relationship is definitely going fast. And I think it definitely could lead to some things in this season. I mean, we've seen Harvey and Scotty in the past, and they've been, together like this. But we haven't seen a relationship like this that has gone this fast, really, for Harvey in a while, probably since Scotty. It's definitely an interesting turn of events that him and Paul are together now. So we'll have to see where that goes in the future episodes. But I didn't want to bring that up because it's kind of a recurring thing here each week that the relationship keeps on going. So yeah, really interesting to see Harvey finally finding some love instead of these one night stands or whatever like we saw in season 1. But nonetheless, yeah. So good to see Harvey happy, and good to see Paula happy for that matter as well. So yeah, I definitely predict that things are gonna happen, and maybe we might even see a double wedding with him and Paula and Mike and Rachel. I don't know. That's my prediction for now, but kind of ridiculous. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm right. I don't know. But anyways, that's going to just about wrap it up for this episode. I didn't talk about a lot of stuff, but I talked about enough just for this episode. Not much stuff happened, so I kind of spread it out a little bit, went in chronological order a little bit to kind of fill in the gaps. But anyways, that is just about it for that review. And now I'll get to my rating. So for this episode, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 for my on my rating there. Like I said before, it was kind of a middle of the pack average episode for Suits. Nothing special for me, but it did kind of advance the plot. The stuff with Donna really brought it down. I mean, that was just like, and she had a lot of screen time in this one too, at least 10 minutes, maybe more. And all the parts with her just annoyed the hell out of me. Mainly the whole season with her has annoyed the hell out of me. But I love the Donna character. It's, she's essential for the show to keep going, obviously. But just the way that the writers are kind of writing it is just making me, kind of turning me off from the whole Donna thing and her having the new job, whatever. But that kind of lowered the rating a little bit, and nothing really happened. I mean, the whole this kind of is a spacer episode. I think it's kind of they got somewhere with the prison case, and then in the future episodes we'll see where that goes. But I mean, yeah, nothing really happened in this episode that is too big. So, anyways, that is that 3.5 out of 5, which I think is lower than last week's. Last week's was a good episode. So favorite character for this one is Mike. Like I said before, the episode was kind of centered on him, so I thought, why not pick him? Now I think I've done all the three guys in the show now, the three main guys for each one. But Mike, Patrick J. Adams, who plays him, everyone basically knows that. He's great. He's good in the scene with Frank Gallo. I think he played that really, really well, and he really played the character of Mike well. I think it's just a good character. I mean, he's, like I said before, he's been playing this for 7 years, right? He knows what he's doing, and he never disappoints. And the Mike character, the writing for him always is good. Always, has some comedy in it, has some seriousness, and just, obviously the brilliant moments as well. Never stops surprising me, the Mike character, and I really liked in this episode of him, sucking it up, going to Frank Gallo because he knows that, that's the only way he's going to solve this for Mr. Reyes and the other guys. So he's kind of, and he's going to this guy who almost killed him in prison. So definitely a heroic thing to do. And obviously, we see some of his soft side again in this episode with Rachel. So really good episode from Mike. Lewis had a really good one too. Harvey did some good things in this one. I was maybe even thinking about Paula. How she kind of comes clean here, has some emotional moments. But anyways, that is gonna just about wrap it up for Suits Season 7, Episode 5. And I would just like to say we are halfway through the first half. Now, I'm not even sure why they call it halves. I mean, I looked on USA Network. They even, the show's on USA, and they even say first half, second half. But the first half's 10 episodes, second half's 6. So it is what it is, but I'm just going to call it the summer part of the season, but we're halfway through, so we're done episode 5, so only 5 weeks left of this one. We'll get a big finale there, and then that 6 episodes will kind of wrap up what happens in the finale. So definitely excited for the next few weeks and to see where this series goes. I've also heard some news, unfortunately, that this might be the last Suits season. It hasn't been renewed for season 8 yet. And Gabriel Macht, was already talking about not coming back for season 7. And without him, obviously, I mean, I think the show's going to end. I don't think it could go much farther without him. Although Patrick J. Adams could definitely do some work on it and really, come out of his shell even more. But anyways, it is what it is. I think for this channel, since I'm doing these shows and talking about them, I'm definitely going to put out some news videos as well, saying if this has been renewed, if this has been canceled, any of my shows I'm covering, I'm definitely going to do that. Let you guys know, just if you don't already. So anyways, that's just some news I thought I'd touch on. But anyways, until next time, next week, I'll see you for Suits Season 7, Episode 6.